Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. The comment section is already up in arms, and that's what I like to see. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We have a bunch to break down on today's show. As we are now full swing in the offseason, we're going to touch on some first-round draft targets that the Giants could look to go after in the 2023 NFL Draft with the 25th pick in the first round. We're also going to touch on five receivers? Was it 4 or 5? 5 wide receivers the New York Giants could go out and trade for. So we got a lot to talk about. And we're going to have a mailbag coming up later on in the video. If you haven't yet, hit the thumbs up icon. We got 70 people watching, less than 19 likes. To not be too rude, that is absolutely brutal. Before we get things going, I think it's only right to talk about yesterday. So I want to know, who do you got? Who do you got in Super Bowl 57? Is that what we're at right now? Super Bowl 57. This will be the 11th Super Bowl since the Giants beat Tom Brady for the second time back in Super Bowl 46. Already. Shout out to Nick Roloff for producing today's show. Let me know who you got. Who's going to win the football game? Type KC for the Chiefs, PHI for the Philadelphia Eagles. Rolly, feel free to unmute yourself. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be rooting like hell for the Chiefs. I kind of see an Eagles blowout.
I think I'm going to pick the Eagles because I don't know if you've seen this tweet that was published in 2014, and it predicted the next 10 Super Bowl winners.
It hasn't been right.
Has been right on. It could be fake by now, and I'm getting duped, and I just don't care. It's been right on every single one. The next 4 champions: Eagles, Bills, Bengals, Jags. I mean, did he have the script? Does he have it?
I don't know. I just think that the Eagles are the best team in football, while the Chiefs do have the best football player in Patrick Mahomes. It's a team sport, and I just believe that the Eagles, and I freaking hate the Eagles. I'm not rooting for them. I don't want that to be misconstrued. I'm going to be wearing my Giants red, root for the Kansas City Chiefs and the ex-Eagle Andy Reid and freaking Kadarius Phoney, but I just don't see how Philadelphia loses this football game. They are too dominant in the trenches, and we've seen that time and time again in the Super Bowl. The trench work is what wins playoff games. Go back to when the Chiefs lost to your boy Tom Brady. They couldn't block.
I will say Brandon Graham, Hassan Reddick terrorizing Orlando Brown and Andrew Wiley on the outside in pass protection is going to be the story of this game.
Then you got Fletcher Cox, and you have Ndamukong Suh, and you just have so many players on the Eagles' defensive line that I think is going to be able to change this game. Look, I hate the Eagles. I know you hate the Eagles. So if you want the Eagles to lose the Super Bowl so they don't catch up to the Giants 4 Super Bowls, let's like this video. We got 100 people watching and 33 likes. If you want the Eagles to lose, like this video. I better see people start liking the freaking video, or I'm going to know that we got a whole bunch of Eagles fans in here. And to be quite frank, that is just unacceptable. Can we get to 70 likes? Can we get to 70 likes? We got 100 people watching, 40 likes, and I want the Eagles to lose. Rolly, who are you rooting for, though?
It's brutal for me because as a Brady guy, I don't want to see Mahomes creeping up in that territory. But I also hate the Eagles, just like all of you guys. Not as much, but I don't like the Eagles whatsoever. It's tough.
I'm rooting for the Chiefs like crazy. I am rooting for the Chiefs. I think it'd be cool to see another quarterback go on an historic run, kind of like Mahomes is. I mean, he's already been to 5 straight conference championships. He's 3-2 in those games. It's going to be his 3rd Super Bowl appearance. I mean, people said we'd never see Tom Brady again, but if Mahomes wins this one and he goes 2-1 in his first 5 seasons, he's well on his way. Who knows if he ever gets, what does he have, 7 now, Brady?
Yeah.
7, who knows if he gets to 7.
The problem is if Mahomes even gets to 7, Brady will have the head-to-head advantage, so the stats will have to be quite the differential. Listen, Mahomes was entering
Are you really holding that over Mahomes, that one little measly win?
one measly win. You mean the Super Bowl. I mean, that's going to impact legacies.
For sure. That's why
game.
I think Eli Manning's a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
Sure.
We do have a super chat menu to get to on today's show. What a spin job that was by me. We're running it back with the wheel. We're running the wheel back. We had a lot of fun with the wheel last week. It was Seeps producing. Now it's Rolly. We're throwing Rolly into the dungeon. Let's freaking go. Every super chat, we'll give you a shout out. We'll pop that up on screen. $10 super chat. We're going to spin that wheel. We did it last week. It was a lot of fun. That could be a shot for me. It could be a shot for Rolly. That could be a shot for both of us. That could be a beer shotgun for me. It could be a beer shotgun for Rolly. It could be a beer shotgun for both of us. Maybe a tequila shot. Also, every $20 super chat, we're going to take a shot of Fireball. $50 super chat. It's a guaranteed shot fun. We'll spin the wheel. There's 3 spots on there. Me shot fun, Rolly shot fun, group shot fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Every $100 supers. Once we get to 100, we'll also do a beer shot fun race. Crim's dad in the chat already. Not a fan of Rolly. What's up with that?
He's chirping. He just told me to go home already. But here's the thing, Crim's dad. I saw you in our Kansas City Chiefs live stream last night.
Wow.
Crim's dad pulled up to the stream and said, "What's up, Rolly?" with the hand-waving emoji. So Crim's dad, I like you a lot. But don't go acting all sweet in the Chiefs stream and then come on here and tell me to go home. What's up with that?
What is up with that? Nah, that's pretty funny. Corinne is in the chat. That's what I like to see from everybody. This is our super chat menu. If we want to have some fun, if we want to do some drinking and some beer shot funds, we can do that. Here's the list. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a bunch to talk about on today's show. Let's start, though. Mr. Rick, he does. He acts like a Giants guy, but as soon as they make the playoffs, he becomes a Vikings fan. Still unacceptable by Rolly. If you weren't on Twitter yesterday, you might have missed it, but Kayvon Thibodeaux sure did do some chirping on the Bird app. He tweeted out yesterday during the 49ers and Eagles game that the way this game looks, we might be better than the 49ers, and put a couple of laughing face emoji. Then after the 49ers got their ass whipped by the Eagles, they jumped on Twitter. Eric Armstead, quote, tweeted and said, "Don't do that, bro. I watched y'all's film." I wanted Kayvon Thibodeaux to respond to this tweet right here with either A, well, you should have watched more film because you got your ass beat, or B, you should have been watching the Eagles film because you got your ass beat. But I like what Kayvon Thibodeaux responded with. He said, "We all watching the Super Bowl from the couch." And then like this last line, Rolly, is just a quick little jab. He was like, "You played well though, bro. Just not well enough." Absolute elite troll job by Kayvon Thibodeaux on Twitter. Unfortunately, Joe Staley, former offensive lineman for the San Francisco 49ers, quote tweeted Kayvon Thibodeaux's tweet saying we could have beat the Niners and said, "You're a flash player who gets bodied by average tackles. Don't let the New York media affect you too much." And Kayvon Thibodeaux hit him with his patented line of, "Who are you, bro?" And then says, "I don't care how famous you are. If I don't know you, I don't know you." And we all know, or a lot of people know who Joe Staley is. But a lot of people on Twitter, Rolly, were very upset, even Giants fans, with Kayvon Thibodeaux. So I want to ask everyone right now, what do you guys make of Kayvon Thibodeaux's Twitter beef with Joe Staley and the 49ers? Do you care? Do you not care? Does he need to shut up? What does he need to do? I'm going to be honest, Rolly, I don't give a shit. Like, it's Twitter. That's what it's meant for. The guy, he's a 21, 22-year-old kid. He's just on Twitter having fun, talking a little shit.
Well, Micah Parsons for the Cowboys does the same thing, and he takes some criticism sometimes. Listen, it's social media. Say what you want. Get in some jabs. It's fun. It's more fun. I know some people don't like the negativity on Twitter and Instagram like that, but personally, I don't know about you, Marsh. I like getting in the trenches, digging it up with people on Twitter, debating sports, having the fun little beefs like that. I think that's what makes it the best app on there.
I agree, and I'm going to be honest. Joe Staley getting so upset at Kayvon Thibodeaux's tweet to where he tried to body a 21-year-old by saying, you had 4 sacks last year. Well, Joe Staley, you also retired, and you lost to the Giants in the 2011 NFC title game for your chance to a trip to the Super Bowl. So, 1, I hate Joe Staley. 2, I honestly hate the 49ers. 3, the Niners got shit stomped yesterday. You can't go on Twitter talking crap and then not, realize that you got your ass beat. You got beat just as bad as the Giants did. Sure, the quarterback situation is what it was, but I didn't think that Brock Purdy was playing corner or inside linebacker. They still gave up 31 points. It's just hilarious to me.
Yeah, I mean, they were going to lose that game regardless. It might have been closer, but it seemed like they were going to lose no matter what.
I have no problem with what Kayvon Thibodeaux did on Twitter yesterday. It was funny. I actually like seeing that out of a Giant a little bit. Kind of playing that villain role a little bit, and I kind of like that. I don't know. I feel like the old heads were upset with it. Play ball, play football. It was pretty funny to me. We did have some super chats come in. Brody Peters with a $2 super chat. Brody, we appreciate you, my man. Love the profile picture. Danny M. Effin Dimes. Yes, sir. Mr. Rick, I'm right there with you. I mean, it's Twitter. Who cares? These people on Twitter are mad that Kayvon Thibodeaux didn't know who Jeff Saturday was or Joe Staley. Why should a 21 or 22-year-old know who were good offensive linemen in the 2010s?
I'll give KT this. I understand him not knowing Joe Staley. Not knowing Jeff Saturday, the coach you were playing against, that's a little fraudulent. Come on.
You act like he was there the whole year.
I understand that, but if you do any preparation whatsoever, you always know the head coach of the opposing team that week. So I think he was lying on that one. The Staley one, I believe, but he knew who Jeff Saturday was.
I think that makes the bid even better.
I mean, if he's trying to go for the comedy factor, that he's doing the right things.
He is. Him and Micah Parsons were talking a little bit yesterday. That's pretty funny. Tuto with a $5 super chat, my man. He says, massive salutes and respect to Big Boss Marshy and all diehard Giants fans from in the building. And please slap all the stinky boys and losers from the forget about it. My guy Tutu, a real one. How about this? Let's spin the wheel one time. We got a 5-piece from Tuto and we got a 2-piece from Brody. Let's give the people what they want. A little discounted spin. Every $10 super chat, we're going to spin the wheel. It could be a lot of different things. I'm hoping right now, Rolly, it is not a beer shot fun for me. But you know what? That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I'm a little nervous. Here we go. Give me a Nick Roloff shot fun.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding?
1 out of 17. What?
That's a joke.
I think Rolly has sabotaged this machine.
No.
This is a joke.
The problem with it, too, is the way the wheel randomly was made. You know what was next anyway?
MG shot fun.
They're right next to each other.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
This is ridiculous. Oh, fuck.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
I was not expecting that. That's brutal. Yeah. All right.
Do that after the first. No, we're good.
We got him in here. We'll be good. We'll do it. We'll do it after the first segment.
Oh man.
After the first segment, I mean, they just got a shot fund for $6.
That was devastating.
We need the real ones to step up. Asia, what up? Asia, don't do that, number one, please. And I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. Let's keep Asia Robertson in our thoughts and prayers. She's in the hospital, or she's having a rough day. Her mom is in the hospital. I hope all is well and gets better for you, Asia. No doubt about it. Wow. That was, that sucked. That sucked. Fuck. All right, let's get on with the rest of the show. We'll do the beer shot fun race after the first segment. We do have a mailbag coming up, though. We do have a mailbag coming up. Make sure to use hashtag Giants or Super Chat to get on the show. We're going to have a mailbag later on in the show. Use hashtag Giants to get your question featured on it. If all the real ones could go ahead and ask a question in the comment section, include hashtag Giants like it looks right there in the comment section, we would greatly appreciate it. We want to do a mailbag. We want to hear from the real ones. Use hashtag Giants or Super Chat to get on the show. All Super Chats are guaranteed to get in the mailbag. I haven't seen one question come in the mailbag. Maybe we don't want to do a mailbag. If we don't, just let me know, and we can get off a little bit early. But I wouldn't like that. I want to talk some ball with the New York Football Giants fans, the best in the building. Corinne says she got 2 questions in. Corinne, I appreciate you. Atlantic Lions, I got to think of something, damn it. Well, get to thinking, AL. Joey G getting a question in there. Joey G, we appreciate you, my man. All right, what segment are we starting with? Trade rumors. We got some trade rumors and some trade targets to talk about on today's show. What is this? AG1 or BetUS? Okay, let me pull it up. All righty. Damn, we just got screwed. That's what happens when you play with fire. That's what happens when you play with fire. I was being nice, gave us a free little spin, and we got boned. Absolutely boned. Could not have gone worse. My man Dax in the chat. What up, Dax? What up, Brody? I can't even find my script. Here it is. All righty. Let's do it. We're going to talk about some trade targets, specifically wide receiver trade targets, because the rumors right now are heating up. Crim's dad with a $10 super chat. Let's just spin the wheel right now for Crim's dad. Crim's dad is a real one. Shout out to him. We'll also hit this on the mailbag, Rolly. We'll start the mailbag with this question. Shout out to my man Crim's dad. Are you still on vacation, Crim's dad? It's like a 3-month vacation. Take me with you next time. Gosh dang it. Shout out to Crim's dad. He says, seems like the Giants may pass on Saquon. Thoughts? We will talk about that in the mailbag. It is going to be an interesting couple of weeks, Crim's dad. I am very, very interested to see what they would do. I think yesterday we saw in the Eagles game that a good running back is good for a run game, but the run game starts up front. When you're able to move people and you're able to have Kenny Gainwell run for 7 yards before being touched, I think any receiver or a running back could be good. Rolly, spin that wheel for Mr. Crim's dad. Do not give me a shot fun. All right, we could take some shots. We'll ease into it. We're going to ease into this one.
Oh, man.
I can't believe we got the shots. The shot fun. That was brutal.
Crim's dad, I don't know if when you were in the Chiefs chat yesterday, we did some wheel spinning of our own in the Chiefs. And our host there, Harrison, got absolutely boned with the same thing.
Holy Toledo. That's some good fireball right there. All righty. We're going to start today's show with 5 wide receivers that I think Joe Shane and the Giants are going to have their eyes on. Mr. Rick, if she is sick, Prayers for Mrs. Cha. Hope she's all right. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Yesterday was the first Sunday, or first weekend. I will say this, though. I was off Saturday and Sunday, and it was glorious. That was the first true weekend I had off all season. But yeah. All right. I missed doing a game yesterday. That would have been a lot of fun. Rob Simpson, my man, drive safe, Brody. No driving and chatting. Drive safe. Let's go. All right. Wide receiver trade targets. Let's break it down for Big Blue. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. Trying to get my Twitter followers up, and I want to be followed by more Giants fans, and I want to be able to follow some Giants fans. So give me a follow and send me a DM saying wide receiver, and I'll know to follow you back from this video. Today's show, we got a bunch to talk about. We're going to take a look at some wide receiver trade targets for the New York Football Giants. I think it's obvious to say that one of the biggest needs for Big Blue heading into this offseason is trying to get Daniel Jones some weapons on the outside. And I think we saw last year that there were some elite receivers traded within the NFL for some pretty hefty price tags. So before we list off the 5 wide receivers and some trade ideas I have, let's roll the clock backward to 2022 and the offseason that was, and look at the players that were traded that I thought had an immediate impact for their team and did wonders. Go back to this trade right before the NFL draft. The Eagles received A.J. Brown. They gave up pick number 19 and a 3rd-round pick. I think if I asked everybody in the room right now, if you could trade your 1st overall pick and a 3rd overall pick, or 3rd-round pick, for A.J. Brown, I think the consensus would be yes, we would do it. And I think the Eagles absolutely won this deal. The Titans ended up getting Treylon Burks with that 1st-round pick. If Burks is ever the receiver that A.J. Brown is, the Titans will be very lucky. And now the Eagles are heading to the Super Bowl, unfortunately. What about this one? The Las Vegas Raiders and the Green Bay Packers. The Raiders received Adams. They gave up a 1st-round pick and a 2nd-round pick. I think it's safe to say that the Packers would say, we wish we would have not traded Davante Adams. And there was another elite wide receiver traded. Tyreek Hill. He was traded for a king's ransom. A 1st-round pick, number 29 overall, a 2nd and 4th-round pick, and a 4th and 6th-round pick. What's the key with all those? If you want to trade for an elite wide receiver, it is going to take at minimum a 1st-round pick. While I don't think any of the receivers that we're going to talk about on today's show are as good as Tyreek Hill or Davante Adams or A.J. Brown, I do believe they can have the same type of impact they did with their teams, like the guys we're going to talk about with the New York Football Giants. I also think it's key to remember what draft picks the Giants are going to have heading into the 2023 NFL Draft. At the moment, the Giants currently have 9 total picks in the 1st round. In the NFL Draft. 9 total picks in the NFL Draft. They're going to pick at 25th, then they have their 2nd-round pick at 57, and they have a pick at 89 and 100. One of those coming from the Kansas City Chiefs from that Kadarius Toney trade. They also have a 4th-round pick, a 5th-round pick, a 6th, and 2 7th. 9 total picks. The rumors are, though, that the Giants are going to get 2 more picks from complimentary picks from Evan Ingram in free agency last year, signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Keon Crossan. They're most likely to get a 7th-round pick for them. The idea is maybe that they get a 5th-round pick for Evan Ingram and a 7th-round pick for Keon Crossan, who signed with the Miami Dolphins. We're about to go through 5 receivers that I think the Giants should at least target or talk about in the front office. But first, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We put out videos every single day on the latest Giants news and Giants rumors. We go live once a week. We do watch parties during the season. Just because the offseason here, it's not the offseason for us here at Giants Now by Chat Sports. Our season is just getting started. Videos every single day. Going to be live for NFL free agency, live for the NFL draft. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hit that sub button and lock us in. Let's talk about the one wide receiver that has been linked to the New York Giants the absolute most since the season ended, and that is T. Higgins, the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. The thought process is the Bengals still have to pay Joe Burrow. They still have to pay Jamar Chase. There are a lot of people they have to pay, and people are wondering, will they have enough money to trade for T. Higgins? Or to keep T. Higgins, and would they have to look to trade him? When you look at what T. Higgins has done in his young NFL career, he's been in the league just 3 years. He's been great. 74 grabs this past year, over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's a big play receiver. I think we saw that in the AFC Championship game on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. Just throw him a jump ball up the right sideline, and T. Higgins climbs the ladder and goes and gets it. He's been great in the postseason as well. In 7 postseason games, he has 31 receptions, 457 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and almost 15 yards per catch. Like the trades we showed you a second ago, it is going to cost the Giants a pretty penny if they do want to trade for a guy like T. Higgins. Remember, we showed you what other teams paid for wide receivers in the past. I want to hear from you, though. Would you make this trade, trading their first overall pick for the New York Football Giants and a 2024 third-round pick for T. Higgins? So you get T. Higgins, you give up 2 draft picks. That's a 2024 third-round pick and your first-round pick this year. That is number 25 overall. Would you make this trade? Type T for trade, type P for pass. I want to hear from you guys. I see a lot of people in the comments saying pass right now. Look, you're not getting an elite wide receiver for cheap, and I don't understand how you can say the Giants don't need a receiver. But let me know, T for trade, P for pass. What about another player that had their season ended in the championships round of the NFL playoffs? What about Brandon Ayuk, the wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers? Like T. Higgins, the thought process for Ayuk is at some point the 49ers are going to have to pay the piper, and you cannot continue to have the 10 highest paid players on your roster. Trent Williams, Eric Armstead, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, Travarius Ward, Christian McCaffrey, Trey Lance, Deebo Samuel, all these players that the Niners are going to pay and have to pay. How are they going to be able to afford a guy like Brandon Ayuk? And I think it goes a little bit deeper than that. The 49ers do not have a first-round pick in the NFL draft. They're not going to have much cap space at all to adjust this roster. They have a couple of third-round picks, but they do not have a first-round pick coming up in this draft. So if you're John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, do you ask yourself, what if we trade Brandon Ayuk for a first-round pick? We get to save some money, pay some other guys, and get a first-round pick, draft a receiver, and build him in with the new quarterback that's coming in. Look, Brandon Ayuk is an elite wide receiver. 78 grabs, over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. I think if you were to play for a better quarterback than a guy like Brock Purdy or Josh Johnson or Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance, he would be able to put up elite numbers. These are already really good numbers, but I think Brandon Ayuk has the potential to be a 90-plus catch guy, 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns as the featured number 1 wide receiver on a team. I do think, though, that it would cost, at minimum, a first-round pick for Brandon Ayuk. What about a guy that used to be the best wide receiver in the NFL and one that's not going to cost you, at least in the trade value chart, nearly as much as T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk? What about a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, who's pretty much, him and the Arizona Cardinals have agreed to part ways. DeAndre Hopkins will not be playing for the Arizona Cardinals next year. Last year in 2022, missed 6 games due to a suspension. And in 9 games, he put up 64 catches, 717 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Hopkins is elite. He may be a little bit older, getting closer to 31 years old, but he's still a dominant wide receiver on the outside that completely changes the way a defensive coordinator can call their game to try to stop them. I don't think it would take a first-round pick. I think you're looking at more a second or third-round pick for a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. Last year in 2021, he had 42 grabs for 572 yards and 10 touchdowns. But before that, 3 straight years of 115, and 104 catches, all over 1,100 yards, over 6, 7, 11 TDs. DeAndre Hopkins is still one of the best receivers in the NFL. And I think D-Hop's trade value is interesting because I don't believe it's going to take a first-round pick to trade for him. I think you might be able to get him for a second-round pick, maybe even a third-round pick, maybe a third and a fifth or second and a seventh. Look, the NFL draft, it's a crapshoot. If you're telling me right now you wouldn't trade Wan'Dale Robinson for DeAndre Hopkins, I'm going to ask what you should be, what drugs you're using, and what if you're using drugs, because I know we like to put these draft picks on a pedestal, but 50% of the time early in the draft you miss on those first round picks. You know who you're not missing on? Proven talent like Hopkins, proven talent like Ayuk, and proven talent like T. Higgins. Joe Shane, I wouldn't say he did that well in his first year as general manager in the draft. I know it's only 1 year and we don't want to overreact too much, but man, you got to get an elite receiver on this team. If that's in the draft, that's fine, but you definitely have the ammunition to go do it in a trade. So I'll ask you to pick a wide receiver. Pick a wide receiver for me right now in the to trade for. Remember, I want you to think about what would it cost to get one of these guys, and then think about it. Ayuk, you're going to have to give a first-round pick. I think Hopkins is a second or third-round pick. So think about that when you answer this question. Pick a wide receiver, type Brandon Ayuk, or BA for Brandon Ayuk, or DH for DeAndre Hopkins. We're going to get to two more wide receivers I think could be on the trade market coming up. But first, I want to tell you about our proud sportsbook partner, BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/bet, promo code chat125, and get 125% deposit bonus when you use that promo code at chatsports.com/bet. Shout out to BetUS, the number one sports book in the game. I use it all the time. You're going to make some money like I am over there. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code chat125. What about a guy that's on a team right now that doesn't have a quarterback, that their run in their championship window has officially closed? What about Mike Evans? What is the point of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers holding on to a guy like Mike Evans if Tom Brady's out the door? You just lost your offensive coordinator. Your head coach is in his second year, and I wouldn't be shocked if he's fired after this season. I love the idea of Mike Evans, a guy that, according to producer Rolly, is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. 77 grabs for over 1,100 yards last year. How many years straight is it of 1,000 yards, producer Rolly?
Every year of his career.
Every year of Mike Evans' career, he has had over 1,000 yards receiving. 13 touchdowns in 2020, 14 touchdowns in 2021. What happened when the Giants gave Eli Manning, a player like Mike Evans, that could stretch the field and go up and grab it on top of someone's head? His name was Plaxico Burress. Could Mike Evans be Plaxico Burress to Daniel Jones? We knew it was good. We thought it'd be Kenny Golladay. It didn't happen. You're not getting Mike Evans for cheap, though. That's for sure. Would you trade pick number 25 for Mike Evans straight up? That's all I think it would cost you. A straight up number one pick. Would you trade pick number 25 for Mike Evans? Type Y for yes, type N for no. He's never gone less than 1,000 yards in his career, and he has 2 seasons of 13 and 14 touchdowns. Sound off in the comment section down below. A name that we talked about at the NFL trade deadline is someone that I'm a big fan of, and that's DJ Moore for the Carolina Panthers. I like what DJ Moore can do because I like how he can line up in the slot. He can line up outside. He can come in motion and take a handoff behind the line of scrimmage. He is an elite playmaker. And as Joe Shane has said, what he looks for in his wide receivers, he's a generator with the football in his hands. When you look at what DJ Moore has done the last 4 years of NFL career, prior to this year, with playing with absolutely terrible quarterbacks, to be quite frank, he's played with terrible quarterbacks his entire NFL career. But he had 1,000+ yards in 2019. 1,000+ yards in 2020, 1,000+ yards in 2021. This guy is special. I would love for the New York Football Giants to go after him and see if he's available. They have a new head coach there. Could they be looking to go into an asset accumulation type of mode for this franchise? I don't know if you'd have to give up a first-round pick for DJ Moore, maybe a second and a third-round pick, but man, at some point, I see a lot of people in the comments saying right now, they don't want any of these wide receivers. You know what I don't want? Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins, and Darius Slayton as my number one wide receivers. Look at the teams that played this past weekend in the championship series. The Bengals, they have 2 number ones. The 49ers, they have 2 number ones. The Eagles have 2 number ones. And the Chiefs have Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. If you think you can win big-time games in the playoffs without having great weapons, I have a tough time understanding if you get it. That's just what it comes down to. I want you to pick a wide receiver out of these 5 to trade, though. And when you do, think of what it would cost to trade for him. Type TH for T. Higgins, BA for Brandon Ayuk, DH for DeAndre Hopkins, ME for Mike Evans, or DJ for DJ Moore. Also, remember to give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm seeing some people are mad at me because I want to trade picks for proven talent. It's okay. Yell at me over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. Rolly, can you believe the comment section?
This is unbelievable.
I don't why. What are we doing wrong here?
I don't know. I'm going to tell you, as a fan of the New England Patriots, who also have horrible wide receivers, and their wide receivers are still better than the Giants, I would probably say. Maybe a slight margin, but I'd still take that wide receiver group over the Giants wide receiver group. Every trade you laid out, a first for Higgins, a first for DJ Moore, a first for Mike Evans, a second for D-Hop, and who's the other? A first for Ayuk. If I was offered that, to have any of those players, all the trades Marshall laid out to get them to New England, I would say yes to every single one. All 5 of those guys are wide receiver 1 caliber type players that could really transcend an offense with a young quarterback. It is a no-brainer. What is the exact hit rate on draft picks?
It's like 50% in the first round.
I mean, you're getting a wide receiver 1, at worst wide receiver 2, with all those 5 players.
What team took the biggest jump this year? The Philadelphia Eagles, because they got their young quarterback an elite weapon in A.J. Brown. What about the Miami Dolphins, a team that was absolutely dog water last year? What'd they do? They got their young quarterback an elite weapon in Tyreek Hill. What happened to the Green Bay Packers when they lost Devontae Adams? They sucked. I just don't understand. Who do you want at wide receiver? Realistically, who do you want? Because I don't want to trot Isaiah Hodgins back out there as my number 1. I'm cool if Isaiah Hodgins is my 3rd receiver, but he can't be a number 1 wide receiver on a title contender. Neither can Wan'Dale Robinson. Neither can Richie James. At some point, you have to get weapons on this offense. Because right now, our offense doesn't put the fear of life in any defensive coordinator that you're going to play. I'm tired of seeing Daniel Jones throw for 15 touchdowns in a freaking season. Devontae Adams, the guy that just got traded last year, had 15 receiving touchdowns himself. Mike Evans, back in 2020, he had 14 receiving touchdowns. Daniel Jones threw for 15 this season. To act like these guys aren't good players is absolutely ridiculous. I think we need a reality check, to be honest. It's ridiculous, Rolly.
Gustavo's coming at me in the comments saying only Mike Evans and T. Higgins are wide receiver 1s on this list. I hate to break it to you, Gustavo, but if you polled the entire NFL GMs, 4 out of 5 minimum are top 32 wide receivers in this league. DJ Moore is a top 32 wide receiver. Mike Evans surely is. D-Hop surely is. T. Higgins is surely a top 32 wide receiver. Personally, I think Brandon Ayuk is a top 32 wide receiver in this league. He's the only one I can see you arguing, but his talent, his production is starting to match. His route running is incredible. I would say all 5 of those wide receivers are top 32 receivers in this league and would be the number 1 wide receiver on the Giants by a landslide. You don't know if you're getting that if you take a wide receiver at 25. Who would you rather have for the next 3 years? Mike Evans, Jordan Addison. I think I'm still taking Mike Evans.
Addison's even going to be there. So Corinne is saying they spent too much for Tyreek Hill? They got in the playoffs because of Tyreek Hill. They weren't in the playoffs before he got there.
Before Tua's head injuries, he was on pace to be the MVP of the National Football League because of the numbers he was putting up with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
I think we need to take a step back and stop being so infatuated with draft picks. Because if draft picks were so good, every team in the NFL would be good. Because you know why? Every team in the NFL has draft picks. Draft picks are a lottery ticket. Sometimes they hit. Sometimes you get half the lottery. Sometimes you don't get shit. Like, I don't get it. I really don't. Look at the teams that were the Final Four. The Eagles, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. What about the 49ers? Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. You know why the 49ers were able to get to the conference championship with Brock Purdy, the seventh-round draft pick quarterback? It's because you had weapons all over the football field. Like, I just don't get it. What do you mean they gave away their future, Corinne? I don't understand what that means. How did they give away their future?
I also want to add this. I've seen some comments saying we can't spend money on a wide receiver like Mike Evans or DJ Moore.
Why?
Because we have to repay Saquon Barkley. Listen.
You don't.
I know Barkley is a fan favorite and a really good back, but a wide receiver one is 10 times more valuable than a running back one. You can find running backs in the 4th, 5th round that can make an immediate impact on your team. Look at Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs. He's their running back one. They're going to the Super Bowl. Where'd they take him? The late rounds of the NFL draft.
Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. They just ran for 4 touchdowns against the San Francisco 49ers. A run game is not built around a running back. A run game is built around and established by scheme and by being able to be maulers at the offensive line. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. But to think the Giants can continue to get by with, let's be honest, terrible receivers, I think everyone needs to wake up a little bit. I really, really do. Really, really do. Tuto sends in a $5 super chat. He says, Marshy, Giants, they've got all the talents they need. Coaches need to educate themselves to develop and build players, smarter playbooks, and better schemes. I think that we could have God come down to this green earth and coach this football team with the roster we had, and we would never beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They beat our ass 3 times. There's a talent discrepancy. The Giants were a bottom 10 roster in the NFL. You know why they made the playoffs? Because they were smart, they were well coached, and they didn't turn over the football. If you think you can replicate that year to year to year without getting better as an offense, I just need everybody to wake up a little bit. I really do, because it's just ridiculous at this point. It's ridiculous. Will Jackson says, how does a first and a second and maybe that I wouldn't want to give up 3 first-round picks, Will. 3 draft picks in general. I like Jimmy Ward. I think we're kind of good at the safety spot. I think they're going to re-sign Julian Love. I think we're going to bring back Xavier McKinney. I'm interested to see how Dane Belton grows. I don't think there's really a need for Jimmy Ward on this team, Will. But I would love to get Brandon Ayuk. Maybe a first-round pick is too rich for Brandon Ayuk. But I just think we got to improve the receiver position. And people may say, let's just go sign a receiver. I want you guys to go look at the wide receiver free agent pool and tell me that you're going to get a game changer at that spot. You know what the Kansas City Chiefs tried to do is replace Tyreek Hill with Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Kadarius Toney. If the Chiefs still had Tyreek Hill, man, oh man.
They went 14-3. They might have went 16-1.
I just don't get it. I just really
We do have a mailbag coming up. So
we do. So if y'all want to ask some more questions and you want to give me your thoughts, I'd love to hear it. Go ahead and use #Giants or Super Chat to get on the show.
I'll say this about, you mentioned the free agent class of wide receivers this year. The best free agent wide receiver is either Odell Beckham Jr., who hasn't played in a year, or Jacoby Myers.
I'm sure half the people watching don't even know who Jacoby Myers is. And that's kind of my point. I also think it's key to remember, what did the Buffalo Bills do, Rolly, when Joe Shane was their assistant general manager with Brandon Beane, and they decided that they needed to improve at the wide receiver spot? What'd they do?
They traded for a wide receiver who elevated Josh Allen instantly to a top 5 quarterback in the league, and they now have a top 5 QB in the league and a top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Yeah. We've seen this guy do this before. I think Jacoby Myers is a solid number 3 receiver.
He can be a 2 if you have a good tight end and a good 1.
I mean,
it's sad, but he's been the Patriots wide receiver 1 the past 2 years.
We need a game changer on the outside. All the elite teams have a number one weapon. Who is ours? I love Higgins. He's a good wide receiver 3. I like Wan'Dale Robinson. He couldn't stay healthy. He was banged up all season, and now he's coming off an ACL. I'm not expecting anything from Wan'Dale Robinson next year. I just think it's a little bit crazy. Cha was supposed to. What about this, guys? Would you trade Kadarius Toney for Brandon Ayuk? Hell yeah, you would. Because he was a risky first-round pick, like a lot of wide receivers are, and he didn't pan out. First-round picks are a crapshoot, my man.
Especially in the mid-20s. If you're talking a top 15 pick, maybe there's a different story here. But 25?
I agree.
It's no guarantee.
Like, it's not like we're picking to where we can get Jamison Williams, like last year, or Garrett Wilson, or Drake London. Treylon Burks, he was the 18th pick of the first round. You think the Eagles could try and rework that trade to where they can get Treylon Burks for A.J. Brown? Hell no. I just don't get it. Someone can inform me. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. We do have a mailbag coming up, but I got something better for you. Before the mailbag, for everyone out there that said, I don't want to trade our first round pick. Build through the draft. Get the young guy and Joe Shane we trust. Let's take a look at some first round draft targets. A lot of people, yeah, well, let's do that now. Let the questions build up a little bit. Still fresh in our mind. Mr. Rick, we're going to talk about a first round linebacker that I like. I have a first round linebacker that I like. I have 2 first round linebackers. But I don't know if they're going to be good in the NFL. I like their college tape. I like what they bring. If I told you I could give you a ticket that says you have a 50% chance of taking if you have a lottery ticket that's a 50% chance to make $1 million, would you rather have that or would you rather have $1 million? That's what trading for proven talent is. And to act like the Giants don't have money in free agency, I got to let you know, Giants have the 3rd most cap space in NFL free agency coming up. Let's get into it. Let's get into some first-round draft targets for some people that maybe want to hold on to that first-round pick. Maybe they could see the type of players that they can get. What up, everybody? You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, we're going to take a look at some first-round draft targets the Giants could look at with pick number 25 in the 2023 NFL Draft. So I want to ask you, what position should the Giants draft in round 1 with pick 25? I want to hear from you down in the comment section. What up, everybody? I'm Marshall Green. We got a lot to talk about on today's show. I know the offseason is just getting started, but before you know it, the NFL Draft is going to be here. Give me a follow on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. We could chop it up over there. We're going to talk about some draft targets. I got one player specifically for the key team needs that I believe the Giants need to address to get back to being one of the best teams in the National Football League. I will say this before we get into it. I believe best player available is the way to go for Big Blue in this draft. No doubt about it. Got to take the best player available. The Giants don't have enough talent to where they could be reaching on players. But if one of these 4 positions of need is on the clock in 2025, at pick number 25, I'd pull the trigger. If there's a wide receiver you love, if there's an interior offensive lineman you love, if there's an off-ball linebacker you love, or there's a cornerback you love, I think that is where the Giants should go, no doubt about it. So we're going to run through 4 players that I think could be on the board at pick 25. I keep saying that. But I'll also give you some more names after the one name that could be available. Let's start with wide receiver, which I think is the biggest need on this football team right now, and that's Jordan Addison, the wide receiver out of USC, the transfer from Pitt. This is a guy that Mel Kiper mocked to the Giants in his last mock draft. The player that's an elite catcher of the football. He's an elite player on the outside. His size is concerning for me, though. He's 6 foot, 175 pounds. Makes me wonder, can he win in one-on-one situations in press coverage on the outside? And to be honest, he may not even be available at pick 25. When you look at what he did in his career at USC and Pitt, he was electric. 220 grabs, over 3,100 yards receiving, 29 touchdowns, 14.3 yards per catch. He reminds me of a smaller and slighter Stephon Diggs. He's good with the football in his hands. He's good at creating separation. Had a little bit of injury concern in his college career. The size is concerning, but he's no doubt about it, an elite playmaker, especially with the football in his hands. Other first-round wide receivers that could be on the board. Zay Flowers out of Boston College, shorter guy, play the slot. He's a speedster. Jackson Smith-Njigba out of Ohio State. I like him as a bigger slot. I think he lacks the elite foot speed to be an outside wide receiver, but he's going to be one of the best route runners and a guy that just knows how to play receiver and get open and sit down in holes. Quentin Johnston is a 6'4" wide receiver that could push a vertical. His route tree is limited, but I do like his ability to go up and get catches in contested traffic, and he's good with the football in his hands. He could separate. He's a good yards after catch guy. Jalen Hyatt, one of the most explosive players going into this draft. I think he had 15 touchdowns for Tennessee last year. He's a big play guy. He's fast. Kayshon Boutte out of LSU. He's also a dynamic athlete. I don't want to say character concerns, but there's rumblings that some teams are worried about his readiness to be a pro. He's an elite athlete. Going to be interesting to see how he develops and plays in the NFL. You have talent like that, you usually think that guy can put it all together, but it's always about fit, where you go, who you're being coached by, who you're playing with. So we've showed you 6 wide receivers that could go at pick number 25, and there's more guys, and there's other guys that the Giants may look in round 2. But I want you to name a wide receiver you want the Giants to draft. And there's a lot of guys. There's definitely good football players in this draft. No doubt about it. But I want to hear from you, a wide receiver you want the Giants to draft. We're going to get to 3 other players that I think could be on the board that New York would love to draft here in a second. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to our proud sponsor, Athletic Greens. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That link's in the comments and description of today's show. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. AG1 empowers the gut for whole body health, which is something that I need. I start the day with making one great choice, AG1, and more healthy decisions then follow. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. I also love that it costs less than $3 a day. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. The link is right below. This is what it looks like. You pop that into your search engine or click the link that we have in our comments and description of today's show. I love AG1. I know you are going to love it as well. Get hooked up with them. And thank you for sponsoring today's show. Another big need for this New York Giants football team is a cornerback. And I think Joey Porter fits the build of what a guy like Wink Martindale would want in a cornerback. He's physical, he's strong, he's fast, he's big, long arms, can play press coverage, and he's the son of an NFL great. He knows what it's going to take to play in this league. This is what Mel Kiper had to say about Joey Porter Jr. He said, Porter is an aggressive 6'2" corner who was a 3-year starter for the Nittany Lions. He picked off just 1 pass in his career, but he had 11 pass breakups in 2022. So he gets his hands on the football when it's headed in his direction. Joey Porter Jr. is a Wink Martindale dream. Big, strong, fast, long arms, 6'2", 200 pounds. long arms, the ability to play press coverage, and the speed to play makeup and man-to-man press coverage. Joey Porter is a guy, Junior, is a guy that I would love to see play for Big Blue this season. I don't know if he's going to be available yet at 25. He could be. I've seen him as low as 28. I've seen him as high as 9 in mock drafts. This time of the year when mock drafts are going around, the order is going to be crazy. We're getting closer and closer. But right now, I think he could be on the board at pick 25. When you look at what he did in the 2022 season for Penn State, 27 tackles, 11 pass breakups. He did not allow a single touchdown this year in coverage, and he had a coverage grade of 77.4 according to Pro Football Focus. Joey Porter is definitely one of the CBs that I have my eyes all over in this NFL draft. Some other cornerbacks that went off the board in most mock drafts across the league and across the internet so far. Christian Gonzalez, the corner out of Oregon. I like him. I like all these guys. Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State and Devon Witherspoon. They're all good, but if I had to pick my favorite, it would probably be Joey Porter Jr. I like the tenacity and the nastiness that he plays with on the outside. We're going to be putting out videos every single day of the offseason here on New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video, so you never miss news, so you never miss rumors. The best place to stay up to date with the Big Blue New York Football Giants is right here on Chat Sports. Giants Now, youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. No doubt about it, the Giants need to improve their interior offensive line talent. And Osiris Torrance, the interior offensive lineman out of Florida, is someone that I have my eyes all over. 6'5", 350 pounds. He's also a pretty good athlete. He transferred into Florida. This was his first season there. When you look at his grades from PFF in his first and only season at Florida, he graded out as one of the best interior offensive linemen in college football. An overall grade of 88, pass blocking 76.1, but he didn't allow a single sack, and he had a run block grade of 89.9. He is a dog in the trenches. I really like his hand placement. I think he's a solid athlete. I would love to have him on the interior offensive line and be in the trenches wearing Big Blue. Would love for Osiris Torrance to be one of those guys. What about a linebacker? I know everybody wants the Giants to draft an off-ball linebacker, and when you watched how the Giants off-ball backers played this past year, I'm not mad at it. Drew Sanders out of Arkansas is most notably noted as the number 1 off-ball linebacker in this draft, and for good reason. What you saw him do in the SEC at Arkansas this past year was truly incredible. It was a 5-star recruit, transferred from Bama, 103 tackles, 13.5 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks. Not only can he be a sideline-to-sideline stopper, he can also be a blitzer, something that I think Wink Martindale would love to have. He also had 3 forced fumbles. This is someone that I think is not the biggest or the strongest or the fastest, but his sense of just playing football, being that sideline-to-sideline tackler, bringing intensity, bringing toughness, getting downhill, making plays closer to the line of scrimmage than 3 yards, into the defensive backfield. I'm a big fan of his. Another linebacker that I'm a big fan of is Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. I think he's a little bit stronger and a little bit faster than Drew Sanders. I like Simpson's ability to play sideline to sideline a little bit more. I think he's a little bit better in coverage as well. If either of these guys are available at 25 and the Giants have decided they want to take a linebacker at that spot, both those guys would be someone that I would be in the camp of going after. We showed you 4 guys, really 5 guys, a bonus with the last guy. I want to ask you, though, who do you want the Giants to draft in round 1? You have pick 25. I think your biggest needs are receiver, interior offensive lineman. I think you could use another off-ball backer. And I think you use a cornerback, too, next to a Dory Jackson. I'd be cool with any of the guys that we talked about on today's show, but I want to hear from the real ones out there. Who do you want the Giants to draft in round 1 of the 2023 draft? Woo! Trenton Simpson's a beast. I was watching his film before we went on today. He is a dynamic linebacker.
Yeah, Marsh and I were talking before the show on who were the best linebackers in the draft. I didn't mention Drew Sanders, even though he surely is a top 3 off-ball linebacker in this draft class. The first guy that popped in my mind was Trenton Simpson.
Yeah.
Dude was a stud.
I just he'll never have to come off the field, and neither will the other guy. But we're still really early in this draft process. Still really early. A lot of stuff's going to change.
Vontae Mack, no matter what.
That's pretty funny. Some people want linebacker. Everyone always says he'll be gone by the time the Giants are on the clock, and you always have those people that fall in the NFL draft. There's no way he'll be on the clock. There's no way Evan Neal will be on the clock when the Giants pick 7th overall. The Jags are taking him at 1. There's no way Kayvon Thibodeaux is going to be there at 5. That's what you guys told me all offseason long last year. The draft is a game of poker. Nobody knows what anyone's doing. They're all guesses.
I actually am surprised. Looking back on it, the fact that the Giants were able to get Evan Neal and Tibbs was pretty impressive.
Hopefully Evan Neal makes a big step this year. If Evan Neal is the same player he was as a rookie, which shouldn't be the case, he should get a lot better, the Giants are going to need another right tackle. You need him to be an absolute stud this year. Vontae Mack, huh? Is Vontae Mack that guy? Rolly, what do you think of Vontae Mack?
Vontae Mack's a stud.
Is he better than the other two guys?
Vontae Mack, I mean, you just look at the numbers here. His numbers at Ohio State were generational.
Then why isn't he being talked about as a first-round pick?
Well, everyone likes the quarterback, Bo. I can't tell if you're playing a bet or you're getting got here.
It's a joke.
Okay.
Holy shit. Eric says Marshall, the kid from Oregon, number 1. The linebacker?
That's Noah Sewell.
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 His brother, you know who his brother is?
Penei Sewell.
Sewell. Penei Sewell.
I'm sorry. But if you're talking about Noah Sewell, that's who I said.
Dude.
I said at the Rob, Bo Callahan. Listen, talk about character concerns.
What is that from?
Draft Day, the movie.
That's what it's from? Yeah. I knew it was a bit. That's hilarious. That's funny. Who was doing that? They're funny.
Rob Jigga.
Rob Jigga.
Listen, they sent him the playbook with $1 at the back, or $100 at the back. He sent the playbook back, no $100 bill. When they questioned him about it, where'd the $100 bill go? He sticks with the lie.
I don't get this.
No. I said that wrong. The $100 was still there. He goes, how about that $100?
This is our super chat menu for today's show. We do owe a beer shotgun. We do owe a beer shotgun race. Jeremy, come on in here, man. Come on downtown. Jeremy Chugs. Jeremy, I have a question for you.
Yep.
When the Eagles traded for A.J. Brown,
Yeah.
were you like, we can't do that? We can't trade a first-round pick for A.J. Brown? Why not?
Because if you're drafting a wide receiver in the first round, your wildest dreams is that they turn into A.J. Brown.
So now that you have A.J. Brown, where are you going?
To the Super Bowl.
No way. No way you could trade your first-round pick and go to the Super Bowl. Who would do that?
I'm just saying, one in the hand, two in the bush.
So wait, you're telling me if the
You never
Titans...
heard that?
You're
Have you
telling
heard
me
that?
if the Titans called you right now and said, we'll give you Treylon Burks for A.J. Brown, you wouldn't do it?
No.
But he was a first-round pick.
He's also cheeks.
Exactly. But I do want to do this. Every $5 super chat that comes in the next 2 minutes Our Eagles fan is going to drink some tequila.
Have you never heard the one in the hand, two in the bush?
That sounds like a sex position.
No. Y'all have never heard that? It basically like, don't give up something that you know for something that could be.
That's what I said. If I gave you a lottery ticket that had a 50% chance to hit for $1 million, or I gave you $1 million, what would you choose?
$1 million.
Exactly. Just take the guy that's already freaking proven. But I was pretty much called an idiot today when I said I would trade a first-round pick for a proven wide receiver.
Who was that?
We had a lot. Mike Evans. We had
Maybe a little bit on the older side, right? I don't know. Is he?
who else did we have?
Mike Evans is like 30,
T.
right?
Higgins.
T. Higgins, yeah.
Brandon Ayuk. DJ Moore.
DJ Moore, top of that list for me.
And who was the other guy we had? DeAndre Hopkins. I said a second for D-Hop.
Okay.
Second for D-Hop.
I don't know how old is Mike Evans?
Mike Evans is 29 years old.
One of the guys in the chat said that only 2 of those 5 names were wide receiver ones in the NFL.
They are all wide receiver ones, and I would say they're all top 20 wide receivers probably.
How about,
Ayuk may be top 30, but I think Ayuk is a really young player.
How
That's
about-
going to be better and
how
better.
about Scary Terry if he's available?
No, why would I trade a first-round pick for a receiver?
I also think they're starting to build something over there. They got their QB of the future, so.
Yeah, they're not trading. No, they don't.
Sam only
Hey, Jack, best practices as a producer not to hit the lights when you're live on a show. All righty. Let's do this.
only 15. I guess I'm no shots.
We didn't give a good intro. Every $5 super chat for the next 2 minutes, Jeremy Chuggs, our resident Eagles fan, is going to take a shot at tequila. I want him stumbling out of this studio. Stumbling out of this studio.
Can we laugh at the Cowboys for a second? Our Cowboys host was saying, "Oh well, y'all had it easy. Y'all had to play the Giants, not the Jags."
Yeah, the team that the Giants beat in Jacksonville. That was upsetting to hear from some people, that the Chiefs just had such a tough road. They had to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Giants beat them.
They had to
If
play,
they didn't know.
They had to play a Bengals team that was playing 3 backups on the offensive line.
Yeah. Bengals were a tough team, but now let's not act like the Jaguars were some stiff
And then
opponent
they're
that
like,
they had to beat.
"Well, y'all got to play San Francisco when their quarterback was hurt." Yeah, because he got hurt during the game. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I get that it was obviously easier for the Eagles to win with Brock Purdy out, but that's like out of anybody's control. Crazy times, man.
Crazy times.
I'm cool with no shots. Actually.
Yeah, no shots. It's not going to happen, it looks like. No shots for Chuggs. Chuggs, enjoy your Super Bowl.
Thank
Enjoy your Super Bowl. Let's go Chiefs. Let's go
Best-
Chiefs.
Best dip for a Super Bowl. What's that?
Buffalo wing dip.
Buffalo
Buffalo
chicken?
chicken wing dip.
Queso.
Queso.
No. Buffalo. That's not really a dip. It is. When I
That
think
is the definition of a dip.
when I'm thinking
It is
dip,
something that you
I'm thinking
dip
you
other
gotta
things in.
chef something up, like a true dip.
Yeah, queso, it's more ingredients. It's not just melted cheese.
Yeah, and you don't just buy cans of queso here in Texas, Rolly.
What are you making?
I mean,
Are you
can,
making
but-
fresh cheese or
No, I'm getting some Velveeta. I'm getting some
jalapenos?
Rotel. I'm getting some ground beef.
Some jalapenos?
Some
what
Penos?
What kind of queso you got there? I want that queso.
Loaded
Very good
That's
queso.
the Bob Armstrong special.
The Bob. Zach Vela, what up, Brody? All right, I guess Jeremy, the Eagle fan, just gets out scot-free today. No shots for the Eagle fan. We do have a mailbag coming up. Got a mailbag coming up. Oh, Jeremy, get your butt back in here. Chugs! I'm going to pour him up a shot. I'm pouring Chugs up a shot. Let's go. Mr. Sister, let's go. Jenkins Gaming says, would you give up your first for Diggs from the Bills? In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Jeremy! Don't tell him. This is actually Everclear. This isn't tequila. Oh, what up, Jeremy? What up, man?
Dude, I was just thinking, how lucky of me
Oh, Jeremy. Redwind says, who is Jeremy? Jeremy is our resident Eagles fan, and we're giving him a shot at tequila right now. Every $5 super chat.
Go Stros.
Go. Yeah, nice green shirt, man. I'm going to be honest, that might not be tequila. It's Everclear. Oh! Matt Tobin Bazemore says 2 shots for the Eagles fan. F Boston Scott. I'm right there with you. F Boston Scott. Can I get you to say that?
Boston Scott's incredible.
Boston Scott scored a touchdown like for the first time ever, not against
I was
the
so
New York
happy.
Giants.
I was never happier to see an Eagles score when it wasn't against the Giants. Boston Scott is our daddy. They are. The Eagles are our daddy. We haven't beat them in 9 years in Philly. They're our daddies.
Really?
Until we beat them.
That's actually crazy.
I think the last time we beat y'all was 2014 at home. 9 years. I hate them. I hate the Eagles. But, man, they're our daddy right now. They own us. I don't even remember the last time we beat the Cowboys either. You took 2 from my guy, Matt?
Who do you hate more, the Eagles or the Stros?
I hate the Astros because they cheated the integrity of the game.
Like every other team does.
Yeah. The Astros cheated. They're criminals. They're criminals.
Yeah, totally.
prison.
Yeah, prison for the Stros. Prison for the Stros. Luka Doncic has been traded.
No way!
I'm kidding. He's hurt with an ankle. He's hurt with an ankle. No Donovan, no Doncic trade. All righty, Matt, Mr. Sentencer, I appreciate you.
We also owe a wheel spin.
We owe a wheel spin for Matt. We're going to do the beer shotgun after the mailbag. Beer shotgun race between me and Rolly after the mailbag. We are 59 away from 100. If we get to 100 again, we'll do another wheel spin. Another wheel spin. Please give me a Nick Roll-Off shot fun right here. Please.
That would be
Give
devastating.
me a Nick Roll-Off shot fun.
That would truly be devastating.
Oh, a tequila shot.
Let's go.
1,800.
Yeah,
Some
good drinking.
1,800. This is not my favorite tequila. I'm a Casamigos guy. Rolly knows.
Yeah, that Casamigos on Thursday night was hitting.
That was gas.
Yeah.
It was gassed up in prices, but it was gas. Oh, man. I know nobody, well, maybe some people were calling me idiots, but the comments were mean earlier, Rolly.
They were. They were saying we didn't know ball.
Y'all pretty much said we don't know ball. I know ball.
Listen, the Giants just need a wide receiver. I'm just telling you, you guys, if you had T. Higgins on the team next year, the offense would be so elevated, man.
You know the last time the Giants won the Super Bowl, they had good receivers? Hakeem Nicks,
That can't be right.
Victor Cruz, Mario Manningham. But we want to roll out a receiver unit of Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins, and Darius Slayton? Nah. Zach, if you just include hashtag Giants in your comment like it looks on screen, you could type anything, you could ask any question. Just include hashtag Giants like it is right here on screen, Zach, in your comment, and we'll pull it for the mailbag. Also, every super chat gets up on screen. We're going to hit Crim's dad's super chat in the mailbag. And let's also do Will Jackson's. And, no. We'll do Will's. Will's and Crim's dad. Will's and Crim's dad. Alrighty, last call for mailbag questions. We're at $42 in super chats. We get to 100. That's a second beer shot fun race. Second beer shot fun race. Would love to get there. Matt says they do, and that's why I say F him. LOL, incredible player, but he's an Eagle. You're right. F him. I hate him, Matt. I absolutely hate him. Alrighty. It's Max Beats. All love, Brody. I like to clown with you guys. No doubt about it. I hate the Eagles, man. But just like I hate the Astros are the Yankees' daddy right now, and right now the Eagles and Cowboys are our daddies. Until we beat them, we got to change it.
Zach, great question. That will be on the mailbag.
That's let me pull that up real quick. That's big brain stuff right there. I can't believe people said no for a first-round pick for Mike Evans.
That's ludicrous. Also, if you're still in here from that earlier stream or the cut, Mark's spewing lies on the video, saying that I said Mike Evans would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Do I think he is a Hall of Fame caliber wide receiver? Yes, I do. The numbers back it up. Unbelievable. 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league. Super Bowl title. Did I say he was going to be first ballot? Absolutely not. It would take a decent amount of time for him to get in, but the numbers in longevity are there. He did it at the highest level in the playoffs, the Super Bowl, and he's had bad quarterbacks his whole career. Quarterbacks that have put up big numbers, like Jameis Winston, but they're bad quarterbacks. So.
I just got an email from my apartment that my apartment is shutting down because of the ice here in Dallas, Texas.
I got an email earlier saying that how to prevent pipes from being burst.
Yeah, you got to drip it a little bit, open up your cabinets to where your pipes are, and keep your heat on. Here in Texas, we are not built for the devastating cold like you guys are up north. I'm dead serious. I didn't hear what he said. Probably going to have 2 unpaid interns. That's hilarious. Watson Graves with the $5 super chat. Shout out to Watson. I'm taking a shot for my guy Watson. That puts us 45 away or 55 away. 55 away from a big shotgun. Corinne, that's because you know ball, Corinne. You know ball. Corinne, you wouldn't trade a second-round pick for D-Hop, though?
You wouldn't do it for T. Higgins either, though?
Yeah, why not? What's the beef with T. Higgins?
Yeah, T. Higgins is a stud.
I think T. Higgins is 100 catches a year guy if he gets away from Jamar Chase.
Agree. And he's also a deep threat. He can do everything.
You don't get 6'4" wide receivers that are fast like that. Watson, my man, let's get T. Higgins to the Giants. Yes, sir. Shout out to Watson. Woo-hoo-hoo! That hurt after the tequila. The fireball, tequila fireball, not a good idea. Not a good idea. It's Max Beats. I think that's what Giants fans are worried about right there. They don't want to get Kenny Golladay again. Thing is, T. Higgins is 10 times the receiver that Kenny Golladay is. And he's 24. Rob Jigga, I appreciate you, man. Give me a mute real quick. I'll just read another one. Alrighty, let's do it. Last thing I need to be up here is talking about a person, and I don't know who they are. Don't do it. Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Alrighty. I love Parker Washington. He went to my high school. I went to high school. Or well, he's younger than me, Parker Washington. We could pop that up on there. Someone asked me about that in a comment earlier. Alrighty, let's do the mailbag. Let's get into it. Welcome into New York Giants. I'm gonna do a hard reset. Hold on. All right, let's do it. Welcome into New York Giants now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We have a mailbag coming up where I'm going to be answering questions from subscribers. So go down in the comments section and subscribe, because the only way you can get on this mailbag is if you're a subscriber. So go down right now, hit that thumbs up icon, and hit the sub button. Let's go, Big Blue. First question in coming up from the real one, Crim's dad, my man. He said, seems like the Giants may pass on Saquon Barkley. There are rumors out there that Saquon Barkley wants north of $14 million per year. There's rumors that the Giants offered him a deal of $12 million per year back at the bye week. He declined it. I mean, look, I'm on the fence about Saquon Barkley. I think we learned this weekend, and I've been on this, but it's hard to build a running game around a running back. And what I mean is, it doesn't matter who your running back is. If your offensive line is below average, you're going to have a below average rushing attack. The key to being able to dominate the trenches in the run game is the offensive line. Would you rather have Saquon Barkley at $14 million or starting interior offensive lineman at $8 million and then another Mike Backer at $6 million? It's going to be an interesting offseason with Saquon Barkley. Either way, I'm cool with it. I get bringing him back. I get it. But I also understand if you got to move on from him. Running backs getting a second contract in the NFL tend to not work out as well as you'd think they would. Will Jackson, my man, says, how does a first and a second and maybe a 20? That's just too much. I also don't really think there's a need for a guy like Jimmy Ward on this team. You got Xavier McKinney. You got Dane Belton, who you just drafted. You also have Julian Love, who I think the Giants are going to bring back. I'd love to get Brandon Ayuk. I think it would cost you a first-round pick. I think it's key to remember that the San Francisco 49ers don't have a first-round pick in 2023. But I'm not really willing to offer more than a first-round pick for Ayuk. I think he's a good player. 78 grabs, I believe, last year. Take him outside of an offense with Deebo Samuel, Brock Purdy, and those type of quarterbacks. I think that Ayuk could go be a 100 reception type of guy. Zach Vela, my man, he says, do you think we could salary dump Kenny Golladay for a 5th or a 6th? 5th, no. 6th, I think it might have to be one of those situations, Zach, where it's like Kenny Golladay in a 7th for a 7th. Or Kenny Golladay in a 6th for a 7th. Trading Kenny Golladay, though, would be probably the best case scenario for Big Blue. So if the Giants release Kenny Golladay prior to June 1st, they have a dead cap hit of $14.7 million, but they save $6.7 million. If you trade him, you have a dead cap hit of $10.2 million, and you save $11.2 million. So you save almost $5 million more dollars if you trade him. If you're able to find a deal, sure. I just wonder if Kenny Golladay is going to be wanted by anybody in the National Football League. It's unfortunate that it didn't work for Big Blue and Kenny Golladay. I just don't really know what's going on with Golladay at this point. If you can, sure, but I don't think you're not going to get anything for Kenny Golladay. You're definitely going to have to give up something. No doubt about it. This next one coming in from my guy, Johnny Drama. Who will be better in 2023? Isaiah Hodgins or OBJ? Johnny Drama, great question. Shout out to Jess Mancini. I think it's Hodgins. I do. You know what? I don't know. If OBJ's healthy, it's OBJ, no doubt about it. But Hodgins, I think, showed you that he could be an elite receiver in this league. I just don't know if you could go into a season, though, with Hodgins as your number one. I love him. I love the upside he has. But I'd be a lot more comfortable if Hodgins came into this team and was a wide receiver 3. I'll ask you, though. Pick a wide receiver for me in the comment section. Type IH for Isaiah Hodgins. Type OBJ for Odell Beckham Jr. I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Type IH for Hodgins, OBJ for OBJ. Mitch, what up, man? He says Richie James isn't the biggest. He's 5'9", and Jordan Addison isn't the biggest either. I think he has the potential to be a part of Big Blue. I think if Jordan Addison is on the board at 25, the Giants would love to select a guy like Jordan Addison to this team. I'm not necessarily scared of, Addison, but I do have a little bit of concern about his size. I think he's a smaller, slighter Stephon Diggs. But it's always concerning when your number one playmaker on an offense, which, to be honest, Addison would be if you take him in the first round, can he consistently win one-on-one matchups outside, line up all over the field at 6 foot, 175 pounds? Richie James is solid, but Addison is 10 times the player that Richie James is. Would love to get Addison on this football team. Am a little bit worried about his size. Corinne, what up, Corinne? Would Evan Neal be better at guard? Shit, he can't be much worse at tackle, so I would hope so. I am pretty upset. Maybe not upset is the right word. Disappointed with Evan Neal's rookie year. A lot of people had this guy as the most pro-ready player in the 22 draft, and I don't think that he lived up to that hype. He, to be quite frank, was not a good offensive lineman this season. And anytime he went up against an elite edge rusher, that edge rusher got the best of him every single time. Evan Neal has to make big steps this offseason. He has all the skills. He has all the potential. He has all the size. But he needs to take a big step, similar to a step that Andrew Thomas took. Not saying you need to be an all-pro player in year 2, but can I get some consistency on the right side and just be able for you to start moving people like you were at Alabama? I'm not out on Evan Neal, but the Giants, they better see some production for him, or he's either going to slide into guard like Corinne is talking about, or they're going to be looking for a new right tackle. And either way, if he's not good this year, they're going to be looking for a good right tackle. Knicks kicks. If Brady leaves, does Tampa Bay trade Evans? And if so, are the Giants a possible target? I think that both Evans and Godwin could be on the market. Godwin did just sign that contract, but I think Mike Evans should and could be a target. This is a guy that since he entered the NFL in that same draft as OBJ has had 1,000+ yards in every single season. Had 77 grabs this year, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. The year before, 74, 1,000, 14 touchdowns. He had 27 touchdowns in 2 seasons. He had 14 receiving touchdowns in 2021. To act like this guy is not a bona fide number 1 wide receiver is a bit ludicrous, but it's going to take some draft capital. I think it would take probably a first-round pick to land a guy like Mike Evans. The age is a little bit concerning. He's about to be, I believe, 30 years old, or about to be 31. Look, I like Evans. I would love to trade for him. If Brady leaves the Bucs, that's definitely an interesting team to keep your eye on. We'll get to more questions coming up in a second, but first, I want to tell you guys about our proud sportsbook partner, BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code chat125 for a 125% deposit bonus. You could bet on the Super Bowl, you could bet on the NBA, and before you know it, opening day is 55 days away. MLB's right here. You can bet on everything because BetUS, we've got your game. Jenkins Gaming says, Trenton Simpson is first and Parker Washington. Your thoughts? I like Simpson. I think he's a good sideline-to-sideline linebacker. We know the Giants need a guy like that on the football field. They need to get better at the linebacker spot. Parker Washington, the slot receiver, I would call him, from Penn State. He actually went to my high school, a little bit younger than I am. He's an elite player, and he has been since he was a young kid. He's locked in. He's a good kid. He's all about football. I would love for the Giants to select him. I think he's either a day 2 or day 3 guy at this point, you would say? Day 2 guy. If you can get him in round 3, I don't know if he's a second-round guy, but I like Parker Washington. He's versatile. He's got strong hands. He's known for making big plays. He's done that all his life. Parker Washington is the guy that I would love to see on Big Blue. Go See Boy says, do you think we'll do something with James Washington? Do you think Higgins will be good because you've seen what happened with Kenny G? I don't think that the Kenny Golladay and T. Higgins scenarios are even remotely the same. The year before the Giants signed Golladay, that season, he was hurt and he had injuries. T. Higgins has never really been injured. He's showed that he can be an elite wide receiver. I mean, did you see the catch in the AFC Championship game? This is a guy that 50-50 balls are actually 80-20 balls. He's 6'4", can stretch the field. A little bit worried about his route tree as he can't run every single route, but T. Higgins would step in and be the number 1 wide receiver on this team by a mile. He's usually about a 77 catch guy per year. Taking away from Jamar Chase, I think T. Higgins could be a 100 catch per year guy. Big fan of T. Higgins. I would trade a first-round pick for him. I don't know if that's enough, though. What a name this is, and it is just not the truth. Jokic, Arrow, Embiid, not sure what that means. Is KT5 going to be the best New York Giants pass rusher ever? No, I'd love that, but I don't know about ever. He's got some tough company to deal with Lawrence Taylor. But I'm looking for Kayvon Thibodeaux to take a big step this offseason. I think he had 4 sacks this year. A couple of them were when he was untouched, so I expect for him to make plays like that. But it's time for him to kick it up a notch. You saw a guy like Hassan Riddick. You saw a guy like Micah Parsons. You saw people play in the playoffs this year that could absolutely just wreck games, and there's no reason Kayvon Thibodeaux can't be the same for New York. You picked him number 5 overall. He needs to be a guy that is a perennial Pro Bowl and a guy that makes a couple of All-Pros. I think he has every tool in his bag. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's got the strength. I think he has the mindset. I just think he needs a big offseason. Get a little bit bigger, get a little bit stronger, and I think Kayvon Thibodeaux will be just fine. I think this is a good question, though, and I like it. Will Kayvon Thibodeaux be a star? Type S for star, A for average, or B for bust. S-A-B. Star, average, bust. I think he's going to be a star. He needs to get better, no doubt about it. I don't see any bust in Kayvon Thibodeaux. As long as he stays as good as he was his rookie year, he won't be a bust. I think he's got star potential. No doubt about it. If we missed your question on this mailbag, you can always get on the next mailbag. All you have to do, though, is subscribe. Hit that big red button, sub to the channel. I usually say sub for Giants dubs, but it's going to be a long, long time till the Giants are back on the football field. What up, Brody? He says, hey, Marsh, do you think we should get Gesicki, or do you think Bellinger is good enough? I like Gesicki. I think he's one of the best pass-catching tight ends in the NFL. Did not have that good of a year with the Miami Dolphins, but I think if you go back and look at what he did the prior years before McDaniel got there, he really was an elite pass catcher. He's not a blocking tight end, so I do think actually Gesicki and Bellinger could be a good duo. I like Bellinger a lot. I just don't know if he's ever a tight end number 1. I think he's always going to be a great tight end too because he has the receiving ability and he can block. But if you're looking for someone that maybe could fill like, I'm not saying he is Travis Kelce. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Mike Gesicki could be a guy that Mike Kafka uses like Travis Kelce, like Kafka when Kafka was with Kansas City, like Kelce was used there. I'm not giving big money, though, to a tight end just yet on this football team. A couple more holes to fill. Blue City Empire Sports says the Empire State Building is now a disgrace to New York and New Jersey. What's your opinion? I hope someone got fired. The fact that the Empire State Building was lit up in Eagles colors, and then the fact that they tweeted out and said, fly, Eagles, fly. And they tried to save their asses with it being colored red for the Chiefs. It was ridiculous. I don't root for people to be fired, but that's a fireable offense. Read the room a little bit. Mitch says, will we sign OBJ in the offseason? I don't know. I think the plane incident that happened recently, and the words that he said, I don't have to play in the regular season, I think that might have scared off the Giants a little bit. Dable, Shane, they've said 3 words and 3 phrases that they like about football players. Smart, tough, and dependable. I don't know if OBJ is any of those. Dependable. Is he tough? Sure. I don't want to insult the man's intelligence, but can you trust him? I think that's been proven that you can't. If I missed your question, give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. Would love to see OBJ back because I'm a fan, but I don't know if it's the best move for the Giants at this point. Give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_, and we can chop it up about the Giants over there. What do you think about OBJ?
I don't know. I feel like he could still be good, but the question is he going to be able to stay healthy? Is he going to be able to stay off the news cycle, off the field? I don't know. I'll tell you what, for a team like the Giants, there is a lot of holes on this roster that would make them go to the next level. But it's hard to deny a wide receiver core of maybe Isaiah Hodgins, OBJ, and a rookie wide receiver at 25.
Yeah.
Be
it's just
interesting.
like, it would. No doubt about it. Can he stay healthy, though? Can OBJ stay healthy for 17 games in a playoff run and then do it the next year, then do it the next year? That's concerning for me. I don't know. All righty. We owe a beer shotgun race. That's pretty unfortunate. How about this? For the next 3 minutes, while we get the beer shot fun race ready, for the next 3 minutes, we're going to cut the prices. You can now $5 for a spin the wheel. $5 for spin the wheel. We'll spin the wheel for every $5 super chats. And as long as the super chats are coming, we'll stay live. If not, we're going to sign off after me and Rolly do a beer shot fun race. We already have to do a beer shot fun race because it landed on that for spin the wheel. Let's show them what's on the wheel, Rolly, and tell them what they could get.
And you already see that's what was last time.
I had to do a tequila shot.
No, yeah, you had to do it. But we have shots for Marshall, shots for me. We got both of us having to take shots. We have 50% off the wheel for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, excuse me. So you can get it for $5 what it is right now, but you get that at extended rate. You got a shot fun race, which we have to do. You have a Marshall shot fun. You have a shot fun for me. Sometimes you guys have to like the stream. Sometimes you have to subscribe to the channel. But if I got to be honest, I feel like everyone here right now is already subscribed because it's a bunch of real ones. And then the tequila shots. Those were also on there. That's what's all on the wheel.
For the next 2 minutes, $5 for a wheel spin.
Look, I'll even spin it just to see what it could be. I mean,
this doesn't count.
This doesn't count, but this could have been you.
This could have been you.
Look at it. You could have made me take some shots.
Could have made Rolly take some shots. We do have a beer shotgun race to do. Beer shotgun. You guys know how we get down on the channel. If we want to turn up, if we want to have some fun, if we want to have a good time, we'll do it. If not, we'll get out of here. $5 and we'll spin the wheel. We already have a beer shot fun race. We'll get that ready.
We getting it going?
Let's get it going. If you want it, if not, all good. Did they ever say anything about the interns? Oh. Makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Beer shotgun. Let's get it going. What do you got there? You want pineapple?
You know what the worst part about these are?
It's the coldness. It just rips your paws, throat, and chest apart.
That and, I gotta be honest, I've got, I think, sensitive teeth. My teeth are hurting.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's just gonna get cold.
All righty. Low vibes today. Is it because it's a Monday? Or the Wednesday show's better?
Could be because you're almost you're at the halfway point
Yeah.
of the week. You're almost to the end. Here we're just getting started. We're easing in.
We're easing in on a Monday. All righty. $5 super chats will spin the wheel. We already have to do a beer shot fun once. Rolly claims that he is the best.
I do think I am better than I think I am.
Yeah, you definitely do a little manipulating sometimes.
I think I manipulate the market. You know, get the stocks up, the stocks down, and take advantage when they're.
All righty. Let's do it. I'll count us down. 3, 2, 1, go. All righty. 3, 2, 1, go. Woo! That one hurt, Rolls.
I'm like crying.
I thought you almost threw up right there.
What do you think? No.
I thought he was about to, so I was about to hold the can for him.
Listen, we don't throw up unless we're very, very.
That hurt, man.
Oh, the back of my throat.
Oh, shit. Alrighty. That was brutal. That was freaking brutal. All right. 2 minutes. Nothing comes in. No super chats come in. We're going to sign off. It's been a good show. Good Monday show. We're going to continue to do our live shows every Monday. Oh, shit. I needed that for the rest of the show.
That is the worst part about it. It's not drinking it. It's the throat, at least for me, and then the teeth just getting
Yeah.
cold. I tell you what, if we have to do them cold because they'll explode if you do it once for whatever reason.
Yeah, like I don't know why. It's a science almost.
It is a science thing, but I tell you, if we had the ability to do it with like a room temperature beer,
Oh, it'd be
I
elite.
would be able to down these things. Maybe I won't say half the speed, but I'd say 25% faster.
I will say this. When I took my first gulp of this one today, I said, oh, I got a long way to go.
Yeah,
And I said, I'm going to do it because I don't want to lose to Rolly.
you got me today. You got me today for sure.
Vontae Mack. Yeah, he's a guy I'm looking at in this track.
Dude,
I'm not going to lie. I had to look up who that was.
I almost got by, is it still the same person?
Rob Jigga.
Rob Jigga. I almost got because I was looking through the mailbag question, and I saw the lead of the question. If Saquon Barkley leaves and asks for too much money. So I was like, oh, let me click on it. I clicked on it, and he goes, should we draft Ray Jennings? And if you don't know the movie, you don't know the movie. But Ray Jennings is another player that was a prospect in Draft Day, the movie. He was the son of Terry Crews, a legend at the Browns organization. So you almost got me. I'll give you credit. You almost got me. All right, I'm gonna return.
All righty. We're going to sign off. Appreciate you guys. See you later. Videos tomorrow, every day, rest of the week. Let's go, Big Blue.